All right.
Well, that was a weird event.
Yeah, it was.
But now it's time for some Stranger Things.
I should go too, right? And clear the
No,
stage.
you stay here.
All right.
Let's bring out Matt and Ross Duffer, the Duffer Brothers.
Yeah.
Come back when you don't double book. Hi guys.
Hey.
Sorry, I braced you for being having to wait and stuff, and you're fine with it.
Yeah, thanks for putting us after.
Yeah.
Any day.
Yeah. All right.
We're just coasting, gliding on the momentum, baby.
All right. So everybody wants to know, how do you tell them apart? I'll tell you. I figured it out.
They're kind of like the Duplass brothers.
Yeah, except that
You can't tell them apart
Not
either.
twins, though.
I don't. But the Duplasses, I'd have to Google them and then look and go, okay, yeah, I can't tell them from the but then the guys, the animals guys who aren't even brothers, much less twins, I will never be able to tell them apart. But these guys are easy. Matt has a shock of white hair in front, which is a welcome mat for your remembering his name. Ross is raw. He's not cooked yet, so he doesn't have a gray hair thing.
How do you remember the word mnemonic?
I think of the word phenomenon. I
think of pneumonia because I need to have mnemonics because I'm such a cold person I can't tell people apart. I do. That's how I remember the word mnemonic.
All right, you guys are into your... well, there's nothing I could... Yeah. You guys are... he's not going to start drinking again, is he?
Yeah, thanks to everyone here.
But what did we do? We didn't do anything.
They groaned every time I said I didn't want him to drink.
No, I hate it. No, I hate it when he says like I'm gonna like it's like. It's
I really thought he was gonna drink in New York.
You guys like TV.
I'm amazed that he didn't
like
New York.
working in
And I'm
it?
sorry. And by the way, I'm talking now like the people I hated in the 2000s. I was like, fuck you guys. You don't care. But it's like now it's like we're old. We're so old that it's like now I'm like actually sincerely like, come on, man, don't drink.
Oh, I care. I work with them. Yeah. Hi, guys.
So you guys are now writing season 2 Stranger Things.
Correct.
So first let's talk about what everyone keeps calling the title sequence, but it's like it's not a sequence of anything. It's neon letters in an amazing font with a cool John Carpenter type song. Who's this composer?
Oh, who did the music for it?
Yeah.
These guys named Kyle and Michael. They're part of this band called Survive out of Austin. And we made this little... when we tried to sell the show, we made this little trailer of... We put all these, clips from old movies together with a Spielberg or Carpenter or whatever, try to get the vibe across. And some of it was John Carpenter music that we used, but then for the the epic end of this trailer, we couldn't find anything, and we used music from this band. And so when it came to the show, we called them up. I mean, they had one of them sold used synthesizers.
You don't make money, in an instrumental like synth band. Like it's like you can't make.
You don't
have a living.
Yeah,
so I called them up and I was
music.
like, "Do you guys, at first we had to convince, Netflix and the producers, and then which crazy, they let us, do it, and then we called them and they're like, "Would you quit your jobs to do this?" And they're like, "Fuck yeah!" Because they are you kidding me?
Now they'll be fine because your show's big enough that they can just go on tour.
They're like
now.
touring.
Yeah, they're touring.
With the synth, it's crazy.
Yeah, people will be like, "Yeah, it's great." I always wonder about when you see a Toyota commercial and you hear like a song you really like, and then you look it up and you're like, oh, and then you buy the album and it's like the only I'm not saying these guys are that at all. I have no idea, but I always wonder about the phenomenon of like being a band who's like, who all of a sudden either I will look at the '88. Like I wonder sometimes like they were big enough. They were doing they were using their music was like in shampoo commercials and all this stuff. And then Joe Russo said like we should use them for the theme song of Community. Then they do the thing. It was like I always wonder what their relationship is, if they hate it or love it or
I'm sure they love it. I'm sure they love it. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, they're barely scraping by right now, but like I'm sure they're going to be great. They're going to do really well.
And are you guys from Austin?
No.
North Carolina.
All right.
Durham, North Carolina. Yeah.
Asheville? You just said Durham.
Durham. Yeah.
I have a neurological disorder. You may have heard of it in Wired magazine. It's pretty chic. Diagnosed myself on the internet. So here's something I find interesting about you guys. You are twins, and then we met at lunch. The waitress came over and said, "Are you guys twins?" And you're like, "Yeah." And she said, "Identical." And I've never heard this response before. You guys said, "We don't know. We might be. We assume we are." You could clear that up with a blood test, but you've gotten to the point where you don't want to know. I didn't even know that
what
was
it would psychologically do to us.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think if it came back and we were identical, we'd feel fine and we'd be the same. But like, if it came back that we weren't,
I don't think you. I don't think you are. You're not even wearing the same shirt.
I don't want to hear that.
He bases all of his knowledge about twins on like chimpanzee shows from the 60s. Like,
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I think it could fuck us up.
But that's not even what shocks me. What shocks me is that it's possible in this modern era. You guys were born into a stainless steel honeycomb. You were born into THX 1138. You were born in an underground tube.
Andy's still here.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, shit.
I love that show so much.
Oh, thank you.
I could go on and on.
You know what show he doesn't love? His own show that he is.
No, you know what? There's a Volkswagen blocking my car. That's why I came back. I'm not kidding. I didn't know that this is people from Stranger Things though. This is fucking. Why can't I stay? This is fucking amazing. That show, I gotta talk to you guys about why and how it's so amazing.
All right, well, go ahead. I mean,
no, this is your show. I gotta go, but can somebody move there? It's like a black.
No, we want you to talk to them now.
I have a show. There's a whole.
Fuck your show.
You're mean.
Come on, ask him a few questions. I'll go get the Volkswagen out of the way.
Whose car is that?
Well,
We'll
there's
find
so
out.
many good things. The acting and the writing and the way it's so you really, you know what, I relate to Winona Ryder. I will relate to that character because the way that, I don't know if you guys directed her in this way or whatever, but she is that person where everything about her, and she even says, I know I seem crazy, I know, but I'm not. I saw things in the wall and the lights are. And the more she screams, the more crazy she sounds, and I love that.
Yeah, you talk to lamps and shit.
I love it.
You connected to that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean we cast Winona. Like I think we had one script written and we cast her, and it was like a very different role. It was like a tough, like smoking Long Island mom, and then we had Winona, and I said, what, and then I loved the idea of Winona, and then we started to talk about like Richard Dreyfuss and Close Encounters. We started talking about like what's cool about Winona, what we love about Winona. And that's that's what I love about television, that it can evolve. Like once all the kids were cast, we had one script written and we rewrote that script based on all these kids. Yeah. And we just wrote to all of them. We wrote to Winona, and they made the show. I think they made the show so much better and more interesting. Everything was much more stereotypical.
All of them are great, and the other guy I related, and the kids are amazing. Everybody's so good. You did such a great job with casting and writing and the way you shoot it and everything. That other guy that I just fucking love him is the lead man, the police officer.
Oh, Phil Harbour,
fucking train wreck. Immediately he's popping pills, smoking. He doesn't give a shit. He's drinking. He hates his job, but he's a fucking hero. The first time. Remember that first time when he just fucking knocked the guy out? That was back in the 70s when you can do that. He just fucking knocked him out. He was, I'm gonna do it, and I'm like, fuck you. That's a real hero.
I can't have him listen to this podcast now. No, but the funny thing,
why he didn't like?
Oh no, he's
that?
gonna he gets so pumped up about it.
He
He loves
punching people.
He will love everything that you're saying. Will fucking.
He's a real Andy Dick. By the way,
the way he plays it.
No one's moving that Volkswagen, so I'm going to go out and key it in a second.
He really well.
I mean, you.
Thanks, Andy. Thank you.
But back to my medical question. She's like, how do you not? Because you're babies that were born at the same time. How do they not have your DNA like in a hologram? They're just going like they either are or aren't identical twins. That's the thing I don't understand. It's like you guys slipped through the slats of an Orwellian.
I don't know. No, this is what happens when you're born in the South. I don't know.
Well, speaking of which, you guys were born. So you guys are like you're in the 30. I won't betray you're 30ish. That's the new young. You're being nostalgic in this show for a time that didn't actually like. For me, that's when
it.
There's no guarantee that the person's in this room. Like they had no right to do that.
Well,
like,
he should have went out and fucking moved it.
No, because he might be a block away. He doesn't know that you want his car moved.
Oh.
That's when I was like 10 years old, and it's like filled with like all these memories for me. But you guys are like, you're fondly recalling a time in cinema. Really, like it's like your favorite movies when you were kids, right?
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I think it's just from it's weird because it's part of it is our childhood. We did, we're hanging out with our friends and doing nerdy stuff and going on adventures, and then so that was a huge part of our childhood, and the other part was watching these VHS tapes over and over again. And so it all becomes like a blur when I look back on it. It's just a blur. Those were my favorite movies, and
were they better then? I mean, because like so that kind of I always felt like this thing is like I felt like there was the movies were better. Like there was
they're always better. Yeah.
But you guys are younger enough than me that if that weren't true. Because you guys would just be fondly recalling like Clueless or something, that you'd be like that's our E.T. and I'd be like well okay, and feeling like a curmudgeon like I guess we just all melt and die and think that when we were 10 there was a golden age of cinema. But you guys are kind of like
that's true,
confirming that in the 80s there was like a joy there. I think that John Carpenter really represents because here's a guy who like did his own music for his own horror movies and that synth feel and like we
didn't think about them as like old movies though. I mean they felt very modern to. I didn't watch the Goonies and I wasn't like this is like an old movie. It felt very current to me. So I didn't differentiate. The only thing that it didn't experience it theatrically. That was the only thing. But it felt very new to me. So Did
you ever become
conscious responded to.
before you got to this point? Was there a point where you guys were like, "Oh, I think we're 80s files"?
No,
Good.
not at all.
Short answer.
No, not at all. It makes me nervous actually being associated. That much. Right. I feel like a lot of people know a lot more about it than we do. Winona knows a lot more than we do.
She's like, it wasn't like this. Just keep talking.
No, it's just she talks
You're on camera.
Yeah, she knows so much. She's into weird, like every movie. Like she mentioned these movies. I feel like I know a lot of movies, and I don't know what the hell she's talking. Like I don't even know what movie she's talking about. And I go on IMDb or whatever, it has like 700 votes. Like it's like no one has seen it except Winona.
Is that her thing? Is she like a cinephile?
She watches so much. She watches so
everything.
much, and most of it's like 80s to 90s. Like it's like weird, but yeah. Like I don't know if you even know like Audrey Rose. It's like she's obsessed with this Anthony Hopkins thing. Yeah. It's like a bad. It's like an Exorcist ripoff that they did in the 82. But she's like, you got to see Audrey Rose. I'm like, yeah. I want to watch Audrey Rose. Like, and it was like that for 3 months, and I finally watched it. I was like, I don't know. But then, it was like,
if she says you got to watch Martin Scorsese's Dracula, just say no. Fucking
yeah. That's a good soundtrack, though.
What's Matthew Modine like?
Oh, he gave the weirdest interview yesterday. It was like in Forbes, and he was talking about how upset he was that people were calling him evil because of the character he played in the show. Because when we were shooting the show, I just let him. Oh well, yeah. He thought he was being sympathetic, like he thought he was, but everything he was doing that he thought was sympathetic was really creepy, and so we just let it go, right? like with 11, like when he touches her nose,
right?
And I was just Ross and I just looked and we're like, ooh, and we're like, yeah, let's go, let's do it.
It wasn't a direction.
It wasn't
like
a direction. No, or like. No. He just said no. He goes, I'm going to touch her nose like this, like poink, and we're like, haha. And then we do the first take, and he does it, and we're like, oh shit, he was that was actually.
He was
saying he wasn't joking around
because he has like so, and I know he was concerned. He's like Brenner has like 10 lines in the whole thing. He doesn't have a lot, and so it's him finding these. He's making these weird choices anytime he's on screen because he knows he only has a certain
like I was like, what is that accent you're doing? Like, what is that? He's like, I don't know what accent.
It'll give her the flowers.
I'm not doing an accent. I'm like, there's something. Like I can't figure it out. What is it? He's like, I don't know. There's nothing. But like it fucking worked. It cut through. You know.
That's everything I wanted to hear about Matthew Modine. Because I'm thinking like if I quantum leaped into Matthew and I look in the mirror and I'm like, I see Matthew Modine and I go, oh boy, and that's the episode of Quantum Leap. I would spend that episode, I'd be like, how the fuck do you break out of being Matthew Modine, man? It's like it's kind of like an invitation to just take it as it lays, man. I want to think that he's like some kind of weird.
But he's really interesting, and he is. I mean, and then his Full Metal Jacket stories because he was there for, and a lot of people.
You make a Kubrick movie, you're like there 10 years.
Yeah, and a lot of people associate that like that. You know, that was right when he was like the most desired in Hollywood, and he's gone for 2 years. You sign a Kubrick movie, you're gone forever. You sign your life away. Like there's no end date.
And then at the end of it, Kubrick says, "Now put film in the camera." Did you ever hear that story? The Shining. He shoots you. Is it like Shelley Duvall or Shelley Duvall? Shelley Duvall. Yeah, Shelley Long.
Yeah. By the way, I meant Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula.
But
right. I like it when the train's riding over the top of the book. But yeah, he drove her. He made her do 1,000 takes until she was going out of her mind.
He fucks with them. He gets what he needs out of them. He does it. And it's amazing. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, well, I cut you off. Like now, I had something to say. No, I don't. Yeah. Jesus, you should have kept talking. What do you guys think of garage doors? Okay, so wait, did his character, I can't even remember, did he, because I remember him being not as scared as he should be that his neck would get telekinetically snapped. Like, I remember him walking down the hall and she's like, snap, snap, and they're like, their necks are like, snap, snap, and then he's like, hey, take it easy.
I didn't know she was going to do that. I mean, like, 'cause we weren't.
Wait, no, telekinesis isn't real. You can't pretend. You're like doing like the thing they did on behind the scenes on Gremlins 2, and they're like, "Oh, Mogwai wants his coffee." Well, come on, don't insult us. Don't try to conjure that part of the '80s. We're savvy people. It's Los Angeles. She wasn't supposed to have mental powers. It's clearly a show about a monster from the Upside Down. Like, that's enough. Like, it was, adding her was weird. She showed up. She was bald. She snapped people's necks. And we put her in the movie. You guys are kind of famously. I mean, so what was it's an overnight thing. Like, I don't know if that offends you to say that because you probably there's maybe a trail of like very hard work. I'm sure you didn't come out of a dumpster and walk into Netflix, but
correct.
But it might be insulting to you guys when people are celebrating. Like, who are these guys? Where'd they come from? But where did you come from? What was it? Take us from birth to the night before you sell this pitch. Yeah, just real quick.
We already focused on the birth for a while.
I think. Well, we've always since I think we got our high A camera and it was 3rd grade and we started making movies then and we always knew we wanted to make movies. And we went to film.
So still high 8 was like that's still analog. Like
I mean we weren't editing. We had we had a cassette tape and we had Danny. We were playing Danny Elfman. Like our first movie, it was like a Magic the Gathering adaptation. Which like now Hollywood read that. They read that and they're like, oh, the fucking Duffers want to do. I'm like, that was 4th grade. I mean, I don't, or 3rd grade. I don't want to do it now. But and then we did that. And then
when you guys edited with high 8, did you?
No, we just cut in camera. I mean, we just cut in camera. And then eventually we got because there wasn't. Then there was like a dual VHS editing thing, and then when we were in high school, iMovie came out, which was great, and we learned on iMovie, And then we went to film school and we made some bad stuff. And then we wrote our first script, which got us an agent. And then
Where was film school? Just
I was at Chapman University in Orange County.
Oh, by the way, we have a lot of Columbia alum here.
Oh yeah,
Columbia College, where you and Andy went.
yeah. I dropped out, but
It's okay because as you can hear from the applause, they're not a famously proud school.
yeah.
That what you just heard was called the Columbia.
The Columbia
War
chair.
Tribe.
Yeah.
They're a stealth college.
Anyways, sorry.
I don't even know how we. I mean, it's just a series of rejection. It's a series of rejection. I mean, it's like even film school. It's like USC didn't want us, NYU didn't want. They couldn't get anywhere. Like, so you just we wound up at Chapman, and you just kept writing, and we were like, we need to write our way in because no one's going to give us anything.
I think that was before we went to college is this sense of like we're going to make this amazing short film, and they're going to give us this giant movie,
and then you swingers it.
Yeah, you're gonna. Yeah, exactly. And
the
then
old festival mindset.
Yeah, but then you realize how hard that
how
is.
dead that dream is.
If there's any festival, every festival is rejected us. I mean, like so you just. The good thing is there's two of us, so we're like delusional together, and then we just keep going at it. And then
do you guys pump each other up? Or are you
bring each other down, pump each other up?
So, how does that work? Like, how does that is it like if one of you is up, the other it balances? It says let's not get cocky.
I think yeah. If he's being if he's being obnoxious or vice versa, I'd say like you're being a douche, or you sounded like a douche, or that sounded really nice, Ross, or whatever. I mean, whatever. So I guess that's what we do. And then,
but you guys have had moments. You got a season 2, or must have been some moment when you went out to your black Volkswagen. Oh shit! Fuck. They famously and closed the doors, and neither of you was telling the other one not to get cocky anymore. Like, you guys, do you make out when that happens?
I was going to ask you, did you guys ever jack off together? Or?
All right, well, that on the heels of, okay. It feels real coming from us, I guess, those questions. We don't have to wait for an answer. The answer is no.
I'm going to wait. I'm going to be here all night.
But do you guys collectively both go up, way up, and ever go way both down?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I think we go up, and because the stuff's not going right. We just attack each other. It's bad. It's not. I mean, it depends.
This might be I forgive you if you want to just lie about the answer to this, because it's not a charismatic question to answer honestly, if depending on the answer. Because I was just having this conversation with somebody else where do you guys think? Did you think before you crossed that threshold where it was like, all right, we got it, now we're taken care of regardless of what's supposed to be? Like this, you'll be working for a while now. You're fine. But before that, there's a time of like, as most people experience, it's like, am I supposed to? Are we not supposed to be doing this? Are we supposed to wash dishes? In that phase, which most people experience for much longer of their lives than the other stuff, me included, like I have more memories from that time. During that time, reward my candor. During that time, I just kept assuming it was going to work out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's white male privilege or if that's...
I say like I like make fun that we were delusional, but very delusional. Like I just felt that it was going to work. You have to keep.
But I think actually the weird thing is we've only found any success at all when it was pure panic, because we didn't know what else we were going to do, and we were out of money, and it was just like we're fucked. And like I don't even think I remember like walking by Starbucks and being like, those barista jobs are like hard to get, man. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like that's everyone. Everyone
wants worried about it.
Cody's roommate's job is she goes to Costco, and she doesn't even work for Costco. That job's hard to get. She works for a lotion company because she goes to Costco and says like, is one of those people at Costco that's like, hey, do you want to try some lotion for free? She works on commission. Like, I don't even know how it's legal. Like, it's just sort of like she might make $0 in a day. Like, it's like, anyways, bad economy. Okay, so, or best one ever, but it's like fucking fragmented. But okay, why did I get derailed of that? Yes, the fucking like there's that. I used to go like, oh man, I'm gonna have to move back to Milwaukee, and then so I remember saying that out loud to somebody, and somebody was like, is there someone in Milwaukee waiting for you to come back? Like, and for that time only, I was like, no, God, no. And I was like, but I just kind of kept like, it's delusional. I can't figure out. I was in the shower this morning. You're welcome. And I was thinking about that, I was like, is that a good quality or a bad quality? Because I'm kind of like reconciling that with the whole kind of cultural awareness now that we're having. It's like, are we just fucking douchey privileged people? It's like that's just a symptom of luxury of like, well, yeah, like you wait a couple of years and another white dude helps you out.
Yeah.
And it's like I
don't think it happens like that. Let me be real clear here. I think it's hard work and nothing else. No handouts for anybody.
And if your skyscraper's the second tallest now, just wait, and one day it's going to be the tallest, and it's going to be because you worked hard, because you sacrificed.
Spencer knows what he's talking about. I mean, this guy, he's like on 2 shows as an actor. He's executive producing, and he's your chauffeur.
Yeah. And how does that happen?
The guy works hard.
Yeah. Hard work.
Okay, so you guys are in the writer's room right now working on season 2. So the things that we're allowed to know are, because you would watch that. I watch a show called Stranger Things. I watch it for 10 episodes. It's serialized. For all I know, in keeping with a John Carpenter tradition or something like that the second season's going to be like, hey, it's called Stranger Things. You know, it's like True Detective, and it's like all of a sudden it's like 1973 in Detroit, and it's like, hey, my name's Roger McClintock, and I've seen Stranger Things than the case I'm on. You know, and like, she says she's a witch, but I don't believe in. The only thing I believe in is my revolver. And everyone's either booing or cheering, but that's not the case. I know that from talking to you guys, and the public knows. You guys are like, it's these characters. It's Winona and her kids, and the and now even Stranger Things will happen.
Yeah, we wanted to see it as like it's like a year later, and we're trying to treat as much as we can, even though it's a scary word. Treat it like a sequel. Just because there aren't very many good ones, but the good ones are really good, right? And so the hope is that
you got to have 1 million Stranger Things come down, and then have Space Marines be like, lock and load.
Yeah, exactly.
There's 20 upside downs. Why should put her in charge? It's aliens. Yeah. But did you guys know? Did you watch Halloween, and then you watch Halloween 2 when you're a kid? I mean, you guys were kids when you saw it too, I'm sure. But when I was a kid, it was happening kind of. It's like, watch Halloween. It was like the original. It's like the birth of Michael Myers. You watch Halloween 2. Oh, it's the sequel. It picks up where it left off. But now he's killing people in a hospital with a scalpel. And then you watch Halloween 3. It's called Season of the Witch, and it's about like a microchip in the back of a mask, and there's a mad toy manufacturer that wants to enact a Celtic tradition, and you always think when you're a consumer back then, I was like, how could they not understand? But now you've probably already experienced enough to understand. Like, of course that happens, because nothing happens like the way it should. Like the decisions that are made aren't happening. John Carpenter did an interview, like, and he was like, well, we did Halloween. It was like this amazing movie. Our plan the entire time was going to be to always do a new movie every Halloween. That's all we wanted to do. It was going to be an anthology. It was like he didn't even want Halloween to be so successful that Halloween 2 was demanded to the point where I don't even think he worked on it. I don't think he was allowed to. I don't even know, like that it was like oh yeah, someone else will take care of this because it's just fucking money is pouring out. It's like when you hit oil and it's just in the movies and it's just gushing out. And you're like, where's all that oil going? And it's like, yeah, exactly, motherfucker. Get some barrels over here. Oh. That's what's happening with you guys, right? I mean, you can say yes to that without vilifying anybody. Yeah. It's just like that is the state of the union. Like, you guys didn't expect
Yeah, but like Netflix they didn't invest in it going, this is going to be a 1 year, like it was always going to be, planned to be, keep going. So
right.
we had to go in with that mindset that was the intention.
But do you
to
think
keep going?
Do you think that their attitude changed at all about like based on, I don't even know, well, who even knows what numbers they look at? But
I don't know.
We don't know.
No, we don't know. I mean, they really honestly don't tell us, and like, so I mean, we're just trying to do. I mean, it's really scary. I mean, I don't know. I mean, now, like, never before have we been in a position where anyone cared about what we were doing. Right? Which is like a huge
terrifying.
luxury, I've realized, though. You know what I mean? Like, because it comes from a much more pure place, and now there's like all this noise, and I'm like, I'm like neurotic, and I'm thinking about what other people are going to think about it. I'm like, that's bad. I got to stop doing that.
And do you guys have each other to turn to?
Yeah,
for
we
that,
stop thinking about that, and then and then we're just trying as much as possible to just write what we think is cool and what we want to see, and not worry about like longevity or franchisability or any of that shit, and just write a cool second season, and then worry about the rest later, which is not necessarily how everyone wants us to be doing it. But I think it's the best thing. And I think it's going to result, in the best thing. But I don't know, because I see all these filmmakers I admire, and they mess up on sequels, and like Netflix doesn't even like us talking about sequels because it makes them nervous because there's so many bad ones. So, but it's not a traditional.
But it's a TV show. I mean,
no, but it's not traditional though, in that it ends.
Right.
Like we built because it built a climax, and it ends, and the main tension is resolved. So do you, it's different.
Do you think when you say that they're nervous about the sequel thing, do you think
it's more like the word sequel.
It's more like the word sequel.
But we like using it just because we like seeing it as, it's a new tension that then also gets resolved. It was always important to us, like, not to do the killing thing in season 1, where it's like, we almost got Will, but he's in.
Oh no, he got snatched away by the larger Demogorgon.
Yeah,
and it's like, we got to go get that. It's like we want to do different. We want to do new, different stuff.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. But we're excited about it. And as long as we're excited about it, I feel like we're fine. We're good.
Can you describe the worst version of the show? The worst version of season 2 as you see it in the eyes of the person that wants the worst thing for the show.
I mean,
like the thing that is your worst nightmare. Like
I know. It's sort of the because I love Home Alone. Right? It was one of my favorite movies. Right. So, but when I was like a kid, and Home Alone 2 came out, I was like 8 or whatever. I was like, what the fuck is this? It's like, it's the exact same thing. They've just slotted in the pigeon lady for the shovel guy, and
right.
Like,
do you think that's?
I mean, this is bullshit.
Is that your worst nightmare?
Yes, that's the worst nightmare. So instead of like communicating, like 11's lost in the Upside Down, they have to try to communicate with her.
Why not 12?
And 11 and Winona starts to communicate with magnets. And the magnets start to move, and that's my worst nightmare of the show. Like, I'm not interested in that at all. But
and do you think? I bet you can't answer this question honestly, because it's like the question I want to ask is like, do you actually think? Because I think Netflix is justifiably like deified right now. I mean, they're like kind of beyond HBO at their still going peak, because at HBO you could kind of it was still born from a non-Silicon Valley model, and so now like Netflix has combined the prestige of HBO and the success of 80s NBC with the like, fuck you, we're doing it different and we're not sharing our thought process of Silicon Valley. And it's kind of like terrifying and titillating. I love it. Like,
I love it.
It gets a little boring hearing pitches, like having a little shitty studio in Burbank, and every time you hear a pitch, you're kind of like, so where should we take this out? Netflix? It's like, yeah, well, that's like saying, I'd like to be on TV, please. And it's kind of like back. You're all of a sudden you're back to being 10 years old, but I think it's a good thing. And anyways, I guess what I was going to ask, but you can't answer this, is do you really think that they? Do you think that they would want to see that formulaic, like plugged in thing, or? I don't. I mean, ultimately, I do honestly believe they're banking on us, and then like if I make an, they're not writing the show. So if I make compelling, I make an argument, I explain why we want to do what we want to do, they back us. Right. And so like,
it's so crazy they
backed us in the first place.
I don't know why. I still don't know why. It's crazy.
So it was nuts, because we not only like went in and pitched it and say we wanted to show run it. We had there's no reason anyone should let us show run anything. And
never show run, and we never movie was literally dumped. Like no one saw it. Like I still don't understand. I mean, I think
Andy Dick had something to do with it.
Yeah,
he has their ear. He has Netflix here.
No, so that's
what
I love. I feel like they're I love the rebel spirit of it, like that they have. I don't want them to lose it. You know, and I hope that they don't. I mean, because that's what I think it's given them so much success. So I just hope they keep doing it. I hope they keep making crazy fucking decisions.
Yeah,
like our show.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're that crazy. I think it's the funny thing about TV that I've watched happen is that the definition of crazy and like breaking the mold, it's practical. It's basically algorithmic, because the algorithm of television, until such time as they make a computer that can write and direct television, the algorithm suggests that the smart thing to do, as like FX would say, like the guy whose ass I kissed the most, John Landgraf, like when he talks about TV, he goes like, we don't know how to make good TV. We what we know works is statistically if you just like make deals with people that you like, and you kind of like, it's like there's no, you just have to like keep making it, and then the good stuff like works and the bad stuff doesn't. It's like it's the same as in physics, where it's like everybody worked from making weird shit up to justify Newtonian stuff. Like call Newton's laws the Nielsen's maybe, and it's just like, well, why is if an apple falls and hits your head, which makes perfect sense, then how come when you turn a flashlight on in a train car, the light hits the thing and like, oh, that's easy, there's a boogeyman, and then Einstein is like, what if blah blah blah, and everyone's like, no, and that's me, Einstein. No, it's John Landgraf. No, it's fuck it. I'm drunk. Where's Andy? Anyways. I like the algorithmic. I love the possibly apocryphal story of them going of how House of Cards was like, people keep, they did a spreadsheet and it said Kevin Spacey and political thrillers equals blah blah blah. Even if that's not true, I don't mind living in that world.
They're punching shit in. I know.
I mean, that's before they buy the, like they run whatever numbers they run. I mean, I don't know what it is. They're plugging it into something. But
isn't that what we want, though? Because we're not Jackson Pollock. We want approval. We want to, and we want.
It's not like
good people because people
it's not like
it.
we punched this in and said, "Oh, this would be good to write." We wrote what we were into, whatever. It
was a stupid thing to write. Really, I mean, you're writing a show about. I mean, no one wanted to when we're pitching this around. It's like they're kids and they're chasing a monster. And they're like, so it's a kids show. And it's like, no, it's not a kids show. There's also this. You know what I mean? Like people it was hard for people to comprehend. So it's not. For us, it was not writing it from like, let's sell this and make this hit show. It was like, let's just try to write something that we want to see, and then hopefully, and then we didn't even have whatever that Netflix we should take it to Netflix. We didn't even I didn't even dare utter it because it's like, there's no way. It just didn't even occur to me that could be a possibility.
Which
that we should take this and sell it to Net. Like, I didn't want to be an asshole and say that. It just felt so unrealistic.
Well, where in God's earth did you think it would be?
I don't know. That's my point. We didn't know.
God, you guys' instincts are terrible. Did you think there would be an ABC? It's fucking goofy.
What did we? I
don't know. We were just being. It was really naive. I don't know. But, yeah.
So how did you take it to Netflix?
The weird thing is that because we were so not established, and then we were working with a producer that we liked, Sean Levy, but he's a film guy, he's not a TV guy. So it was basically a terrible package. It was a terrible television package, and so we were like, let's go around to studios, not actually to networks, which they're the like for instance, a company called MRC helps fund House of Cards, but they don't, and then Netflix airs it. They help pay for it. So we're like, let's get one of these people, and that'll make it a sexier package. And so we are going around doing that, and then mostly we were getting passes. We were getting a few interests, and then somehow Netflix heard about it. They were the only network or anything that we pitched to the whole time.
Netflix just heard about it.
Well, no.
They have cameras everywhere.
Yeah. No, it was specifically, it was like a TV agent, like at a breakfast, pitching other shit into the Netflix executive, and him going, "Oh, we're looking for stuff."
So lucky. They're like,
like for like young adults, we're looking for we like Supernatural.
And 80s films do really well for us. Like, it was just
it was like, oh, they're talking about the shit in their algorithm, I think, that they're looking for. And he's like, well, I happen to have this thing. We have 2 studios who want it. He's like, give it to me now over the weekend, and then it happened really fast. And I think it helped. You know how things work? Like, you can't get that first bite, but then once one person is interested in it, it's suddenly like, oh, it's a thing.
Right.
Like, oh, people like this.
Like,
This is,
everyone
like
is-
it's legitimate. Like, it's legitimate. Because we had like 12, 15 passes, and then one person bought it, and then suddenly everyone's like, oh my God, this is amazing. I was like, it didn't change in a week. Like, it's like someone just liked one
People are
person.
just so-
One person liked it,
Yeah,
and then
they're
it's
so
a
scared to
snowball
say, yeah.
effect.
They're so
and then
scared.
and during that, while it was having that snowball effect, someone at Netflix heard about it.
So what? Okay, so the immediate audience here, I don't know if it's still a thing, but everybody's going like, okay, so what do I do? like, and I never know how to answer that question.
Well, you obviously you make something that you love and hope it just gets out
That's
there.
because for us, at least for us,
Sorry,
we,
that's
for,
it.
yeah, for
I don't
so
know why.
long, yeah, we were no. That's what you're saying. We were writing stuff that like we thought. Like we'd meet with these producers or whatnot, and they were like, "This is what we're looking for."
But the weird
it's like
thing
Paranormal
is,
Activity.
you
I was
guys are
like,
directors
yeah.
and writers, but
Yeah.
you did come to a point which is a little.
Yeah.
There's a way to look at this in a disheartening way, which is that because directors shoot stuff and writers write kind of documents suggesting you shoot
Yeah.
stuff later, and you guys made a decision to pull out of the shooting of stuff, which is that advice, which is Channel 101, which is like, hey man, do what you're gonna do if you're allowed to do anything, and me. And you guys were like, yeah, let's not make short films anymore. Let's write scripts, and that'll be the path. I don't know, like are we telling these kids to go in their backyard and shoot home movies, or are we telling them to run over their keyboards? I mean, I know that the simple answer is if you want to be a writer, run over your keyboards, but you guys are auteurs. Tell the auteurs what to do.
No, I think you do both. I mean, I think it's super. I mean, first of all, though, I never understood that advice of like, oh, go shoot. Maybe you can do it now, but it was like, oh, anyone can go make stuff. When these filmmakers were talking, like, anyone can go make stuff now. It's so cheap. It's like, no, it's not. Like, it's fucking expensive. That always made me mad. Like, you just go make something. It's like just to get good audio. Is expensive.
Audio's
okay?
the hardest thing.
Like it's expensive, audio and getting the lights and getting the people together, and like it ends up being like a big endeavor. So it like always made me mad that it's so easy now with technology that anyone can just go out and make something. It's like it's not true. And if you're not into visual effects, which we're not, we don't know shit about visual effects. Like it's not, you're not going to make. There's zero chance of making something that's going to get you in the door. Like that's just my.
Well, no,
feeling.
there's like those Sundance movies that are shot on an iPhone or whatever. Like you can, I think that is a route. I think for it's a hard route that most it does not. It's honestly one of the hardest routes I think, which is to make those films and hope it gets into those festivals and hopes that the percentage that is so small. So it was us doing a little bit of.
Okay, but even like Tangerine is like. Over $100,000. I mean,
yeah,
it's like
not
you don't
cheap. It's not like a,
you don't have $50 in your pocket.
But I think what we realized is that in a part of this was because when we were at Chapman, you're going around and we're interning at these production companies, and you're reading these scripts, right? And these are scripts that are from people that we saw had representation. A lot of this stuff they were getting paid to write this stuff, and a lot of it's not very good. A lot of these scripts in Hollywood needs content. Everyone needs content. So it's us going, if we can teach ourselves how to do this, right. Then, I think there's at least will be a crack in the door that we can get through.
I do really believe, and maybe it's super naive, but I feel like because the minute once we wrote something I actually deep down thought was actually okay, like it kind of worked, it ended up eventually selling, which was because I knew the other stuff that we had written, I just knew. I mean, I just if I was really, really honest with myself, I knew it wasn't good enough. And then when we got to that place, and I thought it was good enough, it ended up selling. So I feel like if you fail enough and you try enough, and I don't know. That's what worked for us. I mean, we fumbled around for so long.
So we're saying that the internet has become such a glut that actually, truly, and I'm not going to agree with this yet, but what's on the table is the idea that whereas in 2002, when I was spouting it the most, you want to make a TV show, you have a camera in your pocket, grab it, fuck the audio, make the TV show, put it online, keep doing it, talent will out. That we've actually hit a point, maybe the theory would be, we've hit a point where it's like there's too much shit and the internet is oxygen. It is just the air around us. And and it's no more shocking that anybody in this room knows how to make a video about two people farting and flying in a flying saucer. Than it is to it doesn't matter. There's too much shit to click on, and everyone's got too much shit going on, and so we focus on scripts as a document because it's sort of like part of the old world, and we like write up our idea of like fade in on this and cut to that, and this is our idea. Is that because the agency mechanism is still in control, like maybe, that it's still?
I mean, I think that can. I think what you're saying. I mean, I think people are doing that where they're making that stuff and it's cutting through. I just think it's so percentage-wise, right? It's got to be pretty low. I mean, because there's, like you said, there's just so much.
It's also just I don't know what's going on YouTube. Like, I don't understand some of the stuff.
No, because I'm not even on Twitter, but on I was searching Twitter to see what people are saying about the show, and you click on these people, and they got like 10 million followers. And I was like, I don't know who this YouTube star is.
Yeah. So I feel like there's a.
So we should not be talking about this.
We shouldn't be talking about it. Yeah, I don't know. Right. That's a good point.
Maybe you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we shouldn't be talking about it. I think the world agrees. Yeah. Let's all stop talking about it. Let's talk about race. I think that.
All right.
If your eyes can really pop out.
That was craziness.
Oh, how many episodes are you doing? Season 2?
9.
Oh, okay.
Which is weird, but it's great.
It's a little warning shot.
What's a warning shot?
Is it one less than the first season?
Well, no, one more.
Oh, okay. It's a little gummy bear.
Yeah, it's a little
filled with NyQuil.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird time to be doing this because it's one of the first times that I can think of that you can come up with an idea and you can go, well, this is how long this story is. It's 5 hours and 30 minutes and 20 seconds, and that's just how it is. And you can actually put that out. And I don't know if I can't think of another instance. I mean, usually you're writing to commercials or you're writing to, why are movies 2 hours? Is it like because you have to pee?
I'm still trying to adjust to all this because I just can't. It's based on some kind of thing, and that's the same with the 22 minutes, the 45 minutes. I'm raised in front of Cheers watching TV, and so I come up in the 21st century, and I'm like this craftsman, and I'm like, this other show is shittier than mine because it's doing serialized storytelling, and that's a cheap tactic. And now I'm in this world where it's like, hey, old man, like this isn't serialized. Hello, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I'll try to serialize it for you. But as I try to like shake it, like as I'm like it's sad. It just reminds me of like the SNL sketch where Dana Carvey was playing Johnny Carson in a post-Arsenio world who had his fingers elongated because Arsenio has long fingers, so it was called Carsenio, and it was Dana Carvey doing Arsenio as Johnny Carson and going like, ugh, woof, 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 woof. That's how I feel when I think about serializing something that I'm writing. Like, oh, this is going to be binge-worthy and all this stuff. It's like, wait, I feel like I'm purposely... I can't tell... when I'm stooping, when I'm evolving, and when I should just retire, and like it's like, well, if I that serialization thing is like a big fucking weird mindfuck for me.
Yeah, but that's because you're growing. I mean, because we're different because we grew up on, and I didn't grow up on watching much TV, to be honest. So we grew up on movies and movie structures. So that's kind of what. I think that's what drew us to it, and also because the movie industry is so sad. Like we try to get into the movies, and it's a little depressing right now. And there was so much in TV, and whenever we went to TV meetings, or even not just with producers who did movies and TV, they're like, "Well, what are your TV ideas? What are your TV ideas?" Because they need content so desperately.
That's what actually led us to move to that. Breaking it up, and
we're just like, that's basically what we're doing.
Is that why the guy goes, the cop guy goes to the lab, and then he's like, "Oh man, there's a lab here," and then they like knock him out, and then he wakes up and he's like, "Back to being a cop." Is it?
That's more like us running ourselves into a hole. And then being like,
well, that's what I mean. Kind of. It's like he's like, well, you can't go forward with that, or the movie.
No, it's done. It's done.
Yeah.
No, I mean, really, it's almost like it's like 4 movies. I mean, it's 8
It's
hours.
like a Lord of the Rings. Like
Yeah.
when I was like Lord of the Rings, great. 1 book, 1 movie, 3, awesome. 11 years of our lives, and and then they're like, now let's do The Hobbit. I'm like, what? As 3 movies? I'm like, so one of your movies is going to be about riding barrels, like for sure. And sure enough, in fact, it was like let's ride these barrels. And they're like, watch out, it's the barrel wizard. What? I'm the barrel wizard. Would you like to keep riding the barrels? But yeah, because okay, so well, at the outset of season 2, did you because you're already did you do a whole like okay, here's what's going to happen from beginning, middle, end in the whole season, and then you chopped it up like a little pie?
Yeah, pretty essentially. Yeah, I mean, but obviously it just keeps evolving and changing as you're going, because once you get in there, I mean, what we found at least is I can't force these characters to do something, so sometimes we're trying to force someone to go in a direction, and it's like, well, they just don't want to do that. That feels stupid, and so then it just keeps changing and evolving. But if we know where where we're going, eventually that's the goal. And the same thing with season 2. It keeps evolving, but we know what that destination is.
Can I pitch you guys something?
Yeah, sure.
You probably don't like when this happens, but it's not like I'm a waiter. I made Community. And I know you don't want to be pigeonholed as the 80s guys, but you know Encyclopedia Brown?
Yeah.
Because I just want to make Encyclopedia Brown, but like Chinatown. Like he's the smartest kid on the block, which means he has Asperger's, but he's like, it's hard for him to deal with people, but he can solve crimes, and it's like, but it's hardcore. He's like a kid detective. Hey, who stole your bike? I found it out. It's the mystery of the missing bike. And then like every good film noir movie, he like some grown-up comes to him in this garage detective agency, and he's like, you just do it stylistically, like, this is why it's up your alley. You guys it can be a Duffer Brothers thing. I'll just write it. Like, you guys can, like, I don't want to be famous anymore. I want to retire. So like you guys, like, it's a Duffer Brothers presents Encyclopedia Brown, but for reals. And so like a grown-up comes in, like Michael Madsen comes into the garage, and then this like good kid actor that you guys find and I don't have to deal with, like he's like would you we don't get many grown-ups in here, Mr. Smizzle, Robert Smizzle, would you like a drink? I have a, and because he lives with his, fuck Encyclopedia Brown, don't give him any money. Like, but it's based on that. We'll erase the part where I legally left a paper trail, but like but he's Encyclopedia Brown, and so it's like, okay, mystery of the missing grapes, I got it. Well, the grapes were here, and there's more because the hose was out before. And okay, good job, and you got that bike back, and beat that bully. Here's your 3 carrots. But then he like gets a grown-up job, and it's like clearly, he shows up, and there's a fucking dead body. Like, he's supposed to just go somewhere and like, oh, I think there's a bike and I want you to get it back. And there's like, but it's like a grown up, and he's like, I need a kid. There's a kid can get in a doggy door. I can't, whatever his thing is. And then, but it's clearly he's been set up. Like, he's supposed to witness it's like he's being used, and he's been fucking set up. That's the threshold you cross. Someone just fucked with Encyclopedia Brown. And he's like, fuck this, and he has this like voiceover. Like, I've always wanted to write something with voiceover. Like, but it's like I always hate it, but it's like I'll do it. You guys direct it. Where he's like fucking somebody fucked with me today. Like, and I had a deal with society. It's like I'd be smart and keep my head down and help them solve their fucking mysteries, and they wouldn't fuck with me. But they just and they wouldn't use the F word this much. It's not a David Mamet play, but I'm just saying, like, he's the outrage, like he's like uncorked. He's like a super genius, and it hurts to be this smart. And he lost his parents. It's like, you ever see Zero Effect with Bill Pullman? Yeah. Like, it's like it's like that, but a kid. He's fucking mentally unhinged. That's why he's so good at solving crimes. Or it's like Criminal Intent with D'Onofrio. Like it's like he's fucking like he's kind of twitchy and like and there is like a girl like what was her name, like Kimball or whatever, Kimber, like there was a girl in Encyclopedia Brown who was like the muscle but was like also like his Watson, but she was kind of like she also was bigger because girls mature faster, so she could beat up Bugs Meany. Anyways, but he's like, so there's like a little love story to it, but it's like so. But I'm just saying, like fucking deep and dark, like Chinatown, like Chinatown dark, but with a kid, and he's been sucked into a grown-up world of murder, and they're trying to play him. And he's like, I've played this fucking role, and like now now I got to use my own like detective skills to like play with these grown-ups, and it's like badass, Like, and it can be set in the 80s or not, but you guys will probably be like, we can't because we don't be the 80s guys, and I'll be like, fine. We'll do it like It Follows, where like it's kind of feels like the 80s, but then someone's got like a DVR or something.
Yeah.
And you guys can be like, we're growing, and I'll be like. So like you guys are into it. We'll go to Netflix because every time I go there, I'm like buzzing and I'm like, it's Dan Harmon, Community, and they're like, what? I went So if I went in with you guys, or you guys go in with that idea, have someone else write it. Encyclopedia Brown, but there's a fucking pool of crusted blood on a carpet on page 17.
That's like,
and then it goes. It says Encyclopedia Brown, but for reals, in red neon with a like serif-laden neon font. Now you're into it.
Yeah, that's good. I see it. I get it.
Did you guys like Lockout, that space movie? It was like Die Hard in Space.
Oh, the one that
ripped off. I guess it ripped off Escape from New York. They sued him. I don't know. I mean, if
they won that, yeah.
Yeah, he won.
I know, but that's
kind
of weird to me. Like I didn't know if you can sue for that. Like I'd be in big trouble. Like I felt like Zemeckis is going to be calling.
I started like a Q&A with him, and they were talking to John Carpenter, and he had someone who were like, "What do you think about these? All these remakes of your movies?" He's like, he loves them because he gets paid. Like he gets.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. So I'm with Lockout. He's like, "Fuck this! I'm not getting paid for this. Like you remade this, paid for this." I'm sure that's why he's mad. That's why he sued. I'm sure.
But it's just okay. Yeah, I don't want to knock his point of view or I don't know.
Didn't see it. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did, and I thought it was just
Guy Pearce.
I thought it was Die Hard in space. I didn't really think. I mean, I recognized devices used in Escape from New York, but I didn't think that those devices were the light bulb. I thought that they were kind of like
I don't know.
But now I feel like I'm going to get in trouble with people I admire. So I'll stop there. If John Carpenter,
you just seen if you can rip off Encyclopedia Brown. Is that what this is?
There was a point where I had a meeting. There was somebody that controlled the rights to Encyclopedia Brown, and my agent at UTA was like, "Yeah, okay, you're going to meet her at the." And I was like, I came in and it was like 10 a.m. and I ordered a vodka on the rocks, and she's like, you're drinking at 10 a.m. Why? And I said, because I'm amazing. And then they never. I was like, and then I pitched them a great take on Encyclopedia Brown, like the blood and the. They never called back.
That's weird.
I think Bugs Meany is behind it. I think we can solve it. Hey, how are you?
Hi. I don't know that much about the 80s.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you do. It's when you.
I stopped watching everything in the 80s. I got out of my parents' house and I just started fucking.
So did you think when the Goonies and E.T. and everything was happening, were you like, this is a golden age of cinema, or were you like, these kids are dumb?
Dumb.
All right. Two sides to every story. Yeah. Well, Duffer Brothers, are you plugging anything?
Skull juice. Say skull juice.
Skull juice is coming out. Oh, do we need to talk about MeUndies or pogo sticks or anything?
No, we do not.
Did MeUndies drop us?
No. It's all fine.
Okay.
We could
Did everyone hear
our skills though at advertise reading if we want to if we wanted to.
Because I don't want to threaten MeUndies if the relationship's good, but I do want to point out that I mean, they may think they have us by the short hairs, but their product could be so easily pooped in. Like,
Yeah.
you could just shit your pants on stage, just be like...
Our whole commercial in New York was about people shitting their pants for during the MeUndies commercial.
And they loved it. Okay. Well, thank God it's a great product.
Yeah.
But your 20-minute commercial or whatever was the best thing I ever heard.
Wow,
The
thanks,
MeUndies
thanks,
thing. Yeah.
man. Thanks.
Yeah. I'm not just saying that because we're friends. Because I you know, because we're friends, I kind of hate you.
No,
for
you
being-
you don't like a lot about me.
Yeah.